Arsenal 3, Sunderland 0. Another professional performance from Arsenal. Job done. 3 points, clean sheet. 9 points at the moment at top of the Premier League table. What's not to love? Let's get into it all. This is the Real Arsenal Deal podcast. Hello and good morning from here, Melbourne, Australian time. It is a beautiful sunny morning and what a time to be an Arsenal fan. Welcome back to the Real Arsenal Deal. Rav here as always. Another post-match reaction show. I will be talking about Arsenal's professional comprehensive 3-0 win over Sunderland to go 9 points clear at the top. I'll just repeat that. It's a lovely looking table at the moment. Yes, I'm smiling like the Cheshire Cat because this is just what Arsenal needed, especially that response to the heavy defeat a couple of weeks ago against Manchester United. Geez, how things change in a blink, right? It was City won that weekend. The margin closed to 4 points. That anxiety, creeped back into the fan base. I certainly felt it as well. I don't think we're all immune. I don't think I'm immune to that, even despite being so far away. You start to look at the fixtures ahead and you start to worry, what if this and what if that? And we know the kind of run City can go on. However, look, Arsenal have just responded in kind. I have corrected that. Maybe that loss was more of an aberration, if anything. We've hardly lost any matches this season, really. So in the grand scheme of things, Arsenal have been very, very consistently good. And in the last 2 Premier League matches, we responded in kind with 2 clean sheets, 7 goals scored, host of open play goals as well, by the way. 3 open play goals this morning by good old Set Piece FC. And it is just what we need, and it's another brick onto the wall, building that Premier League trophy. And I can start to see it coming together. It's still a long way to go, of course. It's match week 25, I believe. Then we're back in action. It's a 5-day break now, which is a welcome little respite to the heavy schedule since December. So we have now 5 days between this match and hosting Brentford. That will be Thursday night UK time, Friday morning here, Australian time. So look, this is just an excellent result. We've got momentum back, and obviously riding that crest of that wave from the EFL Cup semi-final win against Chelsea, and especially the circumstances of that, and winning it with essentially the last kick of the game. Prior to that, we've sealed 8 from 8 in the Champions League. Like, we are just putting together things comprehensively, and it's just, you don't often associate that word with Arsenal, comprehensive and professional. But this current 2026 iteration of Arteta's Arsenal, that we are responding, we are doing things with minimal fuss as well on the pitch. It's just what we need. This is the bedrock of putting together a championship winning team. So onto the match itself, and we'll start with selection. It was a fairly predictable lineup. I felt the main question marks now, of course, are at fullback and who starts as centre forward. With the amount of options we've now got back in the squad, it's just a lovely dilemma to have. Who starts, who finishes, who's ready to make consecutive starts as well. We've got to be mindful of Havertz's minutes, so I think we've managed him pretty well in that context, because I think that the real key for Arsenal is to have him as ready as possible for the real crunch time. Come March, April, May, I'm earmarking in my head those big European nights, the midweek matches. You want Kai Havertz in your lineup, whether midweek as well, home or away in the Champions League, or on the weekend as well. We've got to make sure that he's able to back things up, because he's such an integral player. He's the type of player that lifts everyone. Everyone around him just seems better with Havertz on the pitch. The way he can link play, the way he can lead. He's an outball as well, and he's just a smooth footballer to watch. Glides around the pitch, can collect well. Sure, his finishing is still not absolutely top draw, but then again, is anyone really at Arsenal? Like, you're talking about a very elite category of footballer who can do all of those things, to have all of those attributes. And look, Havertz is just a footballer who we just need on the pitch. I feel more reassured when he's there, and when I saw the lineup and I saw him starting, especially with Zubimendi and Rice now, it effectively is a double pivot behind him, and sometimes Havertz pushes right up forward. He's almost in a 4-4-2. When he plays with Gyokeres, this time with Jesus, he was more of a floating 10, covering spaces and drifting, because Jesus is similar too. They almost interchange at times. Jesus, he draws left, he draws right, because that's the nature of him as a footballer. His profile of strike is that he can play either wing as well. So it's just such a blessing to have such unpredictability, for Arsenal. Like, you don't quite know what the lineup is going to be. You don't quite know who's going to fill which slot, which piece of the puzzle in the lineup. And this is exactly what Arsenal want, because I don't think I'm saying anything outlandish here. In recent history, Arsenal have just had a bit of predictability about us. We have a little bit of staleness maybe has crept in. We have just been maybe just a bit too easy to negate from an opposition point of view when they watch Arsenal and they watch the way we play, and they can set up, adjust their tactics accordingly. But you just don't know what Arsenal are going to do. You don't know what Arteta's got up his sleeve in terms of not just the personnel on the pitch, but what formation, what shape. It's a very fluid style of football that we play. And you have a look at the bench. I mean, and today's a prime example. Look at how we've influenced the game from the bench. I've said this before on this channel that what a thing to have in your weaponry to bring on Viktor Gyökeres against tiring defenders, on 65, 70 minutes, to just to give him 20, 25 minutes to run riot against that sort of chaos that he brings. He's a big footballer. He's fast, acceleration, throw his weight around. It's a real handful. When the opposition have played Arsenal's starters, and you get a bit of a breather. You see that subs board go off, but you look and you see the likes of anyone from Martinelli, Gyokeres coming on. It's got to be pretty deflating, right? Because you got to beat the first 11, and then you got to beat the subs as well. It's a truly unique time in my 30 years watching Arsenal to have this array of talent, to have that array of depth. And look, I don't know how long it's going to last. I'm not sure how sustainable this is going to be. I think there will be maybe some attrition this summer, but that's a conversation for another time, where the players maybe just, they probably want to play more as well, right? There might be certain footballers who are seeking more first team senior minutes, and that may just take care of itself come summertime, especially with the investment Arsenal has made. Maybe we do need to offset some of our spending with some sales, but it's a conversation for another time, because Arsenal are very much in a win. We want to win it all, and we want to win it all now. I think that's been the ethos from the ownership right the way through down to the squad. You can just hear the way everyone talks. Like they're all on the same. They're all singing from the same hymn sheet, as the saying goes. They all say very, very similar things: that we're here to win. We're hungry. We have that desire for trophies. Got that thirst. Whatever the competition is, either EFL Cup, Carabao Cup, they all want to play. They wanted to play that semi-final. They want that. They want that big day out in front of the fans at Wembley in I think it's next month. They all want that. They all want the opportunity to play the real big games, and whatever the competition is, they're ready. They're ready and willing. Look at a player like Norgard, who has essentially sacrificed considerable first team minutes to come experience and be a part of what might be a championship winning little era at Arsenal in his 2 or 3 year contract that he's got with the club. So this is Arsenal have got a collective mindset that we all just want to win. We want to win it all. So just getting back to selection, I anticipated Calafiori starting. I think he was ready for a start. I'll come back to him a bit later. He had an interesting match. Did Calafiori. Timber, right back. I thought maybe this is a good time to sit him down. He's had 3 consecutive starts, but again, maybe with that 5-day break between this match and Brentford, maybe Arteta had that in his mind as well, because you've got White there capable, sitting on the bench, ready to step in. Zubimendi and Rice, I think they were always going to play this one, especially without Xhaka for Sunderland, who look, I may as well just say it now. In some ways, it's a bit of a shame for me that he didn't play, because I was really looking forward to just hearing, just seeing the images of him being sort of serenaded, applauded by the home fans. I think there's an excellent relationship clearly still between Arteta and the coaching staff, and him and the players. I think there's a lot of admiration and respect. It would have been nice for him to have that moment. I think it's going to have to wait till next season. I did see him post-match, by the way. He was on the pitch, and he was pictured sitting with the Sunderland group on their bench. But it's different to him not actually playing. So with a huge Xhaka-shaped hole in midfield, it was a real opportunity for Arsenal to press forward. And the way to do that is to have the dominance of Rice and Zubimendi in midfield, who both had excellent games. Zubimendi with a cracking goal, by the way, I'll come to in a moment. Rice in particular, I thought he was at his best at times. Like the way he can read the play, he was snapping into tackles, snapping into balls. He would anticipate passes from Sunderland, and he would just be there just to intercept, draw it out, very cool, very calm, distribute and go back the other way. This was a very, very impressive game from Declan Rice, another big game player who, like I said before with Havertz, that you want playing those big crunch matches. come season ends. It's the same for Rice. We want all our big players there. We want Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, Havertz. You want them all fit and ready for those really, really big moments. And look, Rice was just phenomenal today. Fantastic, fantastic performance. And then, look, I think we needed to make a change in the front three without trying to be too critical of the trio of Madueke, Gyokeres, and Martinelli. There's just something, especially in a match where you're going to have a lot of final third possession and you're going to be sort of hooking left, hooking right, trying to keep the ball, have that security on the ball. There's just something about them that just, I'm not sure you can carry all three players in the same lineup. There is the risk of losing the ball and giving it back to the opposition. I think we're just trying to get the combinations right. Who are they going to be paired with? I think this was the right time for Jesus to start. And look, he was overall fine. He drifted in and out of moments. Maybe he wasn't as involved or touching the ball as much as he would have liked. But yeah, it was time for him to make a start. Good to see Trossard back on the left. I think Trossard had a fantastic game, heavily involved. I think both of our wingers enjoyed a lot of time and space, tormenting their fullbacks as well at time. Trossard in particular, he gave, I forgot Sunderland's right back's name. Trossard gave him a hell of a time, and he deserves a lot of plaudits today for that performance from Trossard. And we started the match really, really well. In fact, it was that man Trossard who, I think within the opening 20 seconds it was, had a lovely interchange. He found himself on the right, kept the ball in, twisted, turned, used his body well, got an excellent cross into Havertz. Havertz, of all people, found himself in space in the box, just unfortunately couldn't get his header on target. And that would have been an amazing start because it was effectively Havertz with the final kick of the game against Chelsea a few days ago, who scored. And to score in the opening 20, 25 seconds here would have been amazing for him. Would have been 2 goals in the space of like 30 seconds of football, essentially, for Arsenal in the last 2 matches. But unfortunately not to be. We started really well. And if you're familiar with my channel and podcast, thank you, by the way, firstly. If you're familiar with what I say this a lot, that especially at home at the Emirates, the longer and longer it takes to score the first goal, the more and more hope you give to the opposition. I think we all know what I mean. Especially if they can get to halftime, it gives them a lot of hope. They come out, they sit even deeper. Their tactics change and they can start to see the end finish line, think, oh, maybe we can get something out of this. Maybe we can get a point or nick something on the counter. So it's so crucial that Arsenal score the first goal. And obviously the sooner the better. And we got to, Sunderland did pretty well, all things being considered. When was our first goal? I think it was 40 minutes or 41 minutes but by the time we scored. Few chances up until then. Havertz was very good, of course. What I noticed is that we was almost like an edict from the coaching staff that we were going to take shots on sight, shots from distance. Rice came really, really close, and I looked at the reverse replay, showed me how close it was. Just went past. It was a fantastic strike. Maybe just a bit too much power on it, not enough curl or bend as we know he can. It drifted wide of the post. Look at the other end. Maybe I'll say this little segment now, but Calafiori, I know he's a bit rusty. He's returning from injury. His load is increasing. His minutes are increasing. A couple of giveaways, and he was straight away, putting his hand up, apologising, gave away a free kick that Raya came out for. Unusual for Raya that he didn't quite grab it. There was probably a foul on him as well, but the reflex shot, I don't think it was going in, but Havertz was there anyway to block immediately. That was really instinctive defensive play from Havertz. Got the block in, and then Rice got us out of danger. But it was just an unusually nervy moment for Arsenal, almost out of nothing, because up until that point, I don't feel Sunderland had really threatened too much. Their centre forward, by the way, Brobby, I've got a lot of time for him. He's very, very impressive. Big unit, big boy. Like he gave Saliba and Gabriel a hard time again. That's probably why we needed to play them. Maybe it was an opportunity. Could you sit one of them down? Mosquera is waiting in the wings. Hincapié can also play centre half as well. But, we're probably aware of what Brobby did to us in the reverse fixture a few months ago, away at Sunderland, especially those closing moments. Maybe we just decided, no, we're not going to do that again. So we eventually got the reward for our dominance. It was excellent play from Trossard on the left, very patient build-up. We're going left, we're going right. Trossard just timed his pass very well, weighted so Zubimendi could take the strike first time. Cracking finish, bottom corner. I love this is just a little nicety that I really like seeing. I love the goals where it kisses the inside post and goes in or goes across to the other post. I don't know, it's such a rare goal to score. I don't know what it is about it, but I always enjoy watching it. So I really enjoyed watching the replays many, many times of this cracking finish. Like I said, Zubimendi had an excellent game, very secure on the ball, got us out of trouble a number of times and really holding up, shoring up that midfield, allowing Rice to do his thing forward, drifting forward, pushing forward along with Havertz. It was just, it was an excellent overall performance. And look, Zubimendi, has he crept up now to, is it 6 Premier League goals? Is it 5 or 6? I don't want to undersell him here. I do believe it's 6. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. But that's a very, very nice tally. And there's still time and capacity to increase that. Like, is he going to push into double figures? I don't know if he will, but he's certainly got the capability to do so. Excellent finisher. For a player of his profile and stature as well, he can head the ball too. So he's scoring goals with his feet, scoring goals with his head. What a phenomenal signing he has been. And it was soon after that we broke away again. Jesus got through on goal. From the moment the pass was played, to me it looked offside. Unfortunately, that was confirmed because if not, it was a penalty as well. I think the referee awarded the penalty immediately. By the way, speaking of the referee, how refreshing it was for me that I don't know who this gentleman is. I don't know his name. I don't know his profile. He wasn't like, he didn't give that main character energy that so many of the other referees tend to do. It was really, really refreshing just to not have that aspect to contend with as well. I thought the referee handled this just fine. And look, it's more of that, please. Like, just this is the way it should be. You don't have to make it about themselves. Just go out there and do a diligent job and with minimal fuss. And I really welcome that. It was a clear penalty to me, but unfortunately that's ruled out for offside. Trying to remember if anything else major happened just before halftime. For context, it was 2 a.m. kickoff here. I was really struggling with this one. I just woke up in time. Old age is getting to me, I guess. And look, funnily enough, after the match, normally I'm pretty good. My body clock is pretty good at getting myself up and going for a match and getting back to sleep soon after. But this match, I really struggled to get back to sleep. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say why, but I spent a few minutes there lying there staring at the ceiling. This around 4:15, 4:30 in the morning after the match. And I was in my head, I was doing a calculation. Which match day, with a 9-point lead currently, and I was looking ahead at other fixtures and I was looking at who City are playing and whatnot. And I was trying to figure out which match day do we think Arsenal is going to seal the Premier League? It sounds ridiculous. It sounds utterly mad. And it contradicts everything else that I've otherwise said always on this podcast, that it's one game at a time. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Anything can still happen and you can't look too far ahead. The next game is the most important game, all that stuff. And there I was at like 4:30 this morning, just dreaming, pondering. I think this is the duality of being an Arsenal fan, I guess. Like, you can dream and dream big. However, just around the corner, you also start to worry and doubt and you start to think, what if? It's just, I don't even know why I mentioned that, but it's just, it was just really difficult to get back to sleep. But you know what? I woke up again an hour or two later because we're early risers. My boys are up and it's on like Donkey Kong at 6:30 in the morning. And I'm still smiling like the Cheshire Cat because what a time to be. What a time to be an Arsenal fan. There's some real genuine glory on the horizon for us. So the second half commences. We started doing our thing again. Rice with another important interception. Like I mentioned before, the way he read the play. I didn't feel nervous. I know there can be that edge amongst the fan base. You know, a 1-goal lead, all it takes is just one moment out of nowhere, right? And we've seen that happen before. We've seen it too many times from an Arsenal perspective. That has happened before. But I didn't feel particularly nervous. Sunderland, look, I thought they're very impressive, very, very good team, very well set up. However, their away record is not quite as good as their home record too. They're quite formidable. I believe the only team who hasn't lost at home yet. That's a very proud record for them, and they should be buoyed by that. However, I didn't feel that they were going to get back into the game. Of course, nothing is done until it's done. You need that second goal. Was it 61 minutes? We've made some changes. So Gyokeres comes on for Jesus. I believe Madueke, yes, that's right. Martinelli came on the right, who gives us something different as well, a right foot on the right wing. It's typically not something we do, but it gives you another dynamic. And this just goes back to what I was saying before, right? To have someone as explosive as Gyokeres coming on to torment defenders, tiring defenders, it's a hell of a weapon to have. We haven't been able to benefit from that in the opening 3 to 4 or 5 months of the season because of the injuries. Jesus, long-term ACL injury, he's recovering. Havertz, of course, has suffered 2 significant injuries in the last 12 months. So Gyokeres has had to share that load. He hasn't been able to share that load. He's had to carry it all by himself. Now that we've got options back, and it would be great to have Marino in the mixture as well. That's very unfortunate that we've lost him. However, we've still got the strength in depth to be able to find solutions to certain problems. Gyökeres coming on, he looks confident. Like, he just looks a different figure to what we saw just even as recent as a few weeks ago. He was probably feeling the spotlight, feeling the heavy weight, and strikers need goals. It's how they're sort of judged, isn't it? Like, they live or die by the sword, so to speak. They need goals. Goals propel their confidence. So Gyökeres is in some really good goal scoring touch lately. I think he's up to 8 Premier League goals now. He scored, how many has he scored just in the recent 2 or 3 matches? It seems he scored the Champions League, right? He scored midweek. He scored 2 today as well. Like, you have to tip your hat to him. This is exactly what we want. This is the kind of response you want. I'm really pleased for him. I always love that Bane celebration too. More of that, please, because that means that he's doing well. And if he does well, Arsenal are doing well. So Havertz gets the assist for the first one. Gyökeres, like, he was falling over, but still got his shot away with enough power to bury it. Great scenes at the Emirates. 2-0. I think we all drew a breath that, yep, that's just what we needed. Now we just got to do nothing silly and see it through. Few more changes from Arteta as we managed the closing stages of the match. Of course, Hincapié came on as well to relieve Calafiori. I think that was probably pre-planned, that Calafiori still returning from injury, maybe not ready yet to do the full 90, and we don't need to. But we absolutely don't need to. We've got options on the bench. So let's not stretch anyone. Let's not stretch them thin and overload them and risk injury. I think the third goal was my favourite just because of the intent straight away, the way we've cleared that ball from defence. Martinelli looks up and he's just on his bike. He sprints really fast. Again, what a blessing to have that up your sleeve, to have someone like Martinelli to come on, an explosive footballer with acceleration and pace, to run and torment tiring defenders again for 20, 25 minutes is an absolute blessing. And he and Gyokeres just took off. It was fantastic to watch. I've seen the replay many times, and it was really, really lovely. Martinelli's controlled the ball well. He's got right into the danger area. The defender's on him, but he knows if he makes a tackle, it'll probably be a foul or a red card for denying a goal scoring opportunity. The pass was on. It was probably a better option than taking the shot himself. Plays in Gyokeres. 3-0, beautifully done, great celebrations, and from there we could just really, really just seal it entirely and see the match through. So overall, six points from our last 6, 2 consecutive clean sheets. You've had a match here with Gyokeres who's had 2 shots on target, 2 goals. That sounds pretty damn good to me, right? We want a clinical finisher. The stats show you that that's exactly what he provided today. It's a fantastic result for Arsenal, and we've just got to keep going. Like, as much as we can enjoy and relish in this, we know what awaits. We know what needs to be done next. And I listened to Arteta post-match. He's already planning for Brentford. We've got the benefit of a 5-day break as well, so let's see how the squad recovers. Maybe Odegaard is back in the frame for them. I'm not too sure. It doesn't seem an overly serious injury. Saka's injury does seem a bit more longer. I believe it's been earmarked for the North London derby in a few weeks' time that he's targeting to return. So look, again, we've got the options. We don't have to stretch anyone thin. We don't have to risk overloading them, and derailing their season. Like, we don't want to do that, because there's so much football still to play. We want everyone back and available come March, April, May. Overall, it's a great time to be an Arsenal fan. I hope you're enjoying it too. Thank you as always for listening, for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. It will be a great help. Thank you for all the recent activity. Leave me a comment, leave me your feedback. I read every single word. And if you're listening on audio, Apple or Spotify, please follow the show. Leave me a 5-star review. That will be most appreciated. Thank you. And just otherwise, just enjoy, because yeah. And let's hope, by the way, that Liverpool can get the job done. I forgot to mention that as well. Liverpool getting the job done, or even just taking a point against City tonight, that'll just round off an absolutely fantastic weekend. But the story, as always, it's all about Arsenal. It's in our hands. Let's focus on what we need to do, and let's just keep this good thing going. So thank you again. I'm going to say bye for now. Look after yourselves, check in with your loved ones, and come on, Arsenal.